All right, good evening, folks. It's Enforcer Matt, and today we have very big news developing across Russia, Ukraine, and Iran, so let's jump right into it. This morning, NATO's deployed large aircraft forces around Putin's Kaliningrad region, right next to the Polish border, in what appears to be a sudden and urgent show of force, and right now we're currently monitoring these ongoing developments amid this very serious situation. In the meantime, NATO's also deployed several aircraft toward Northern Norway, as it's believed to be that Russian submarines are now on the move out of the port of Murmansk for some unknown reason. Meanwhile, Moscow came under the largest drone attack that it's experienced in the last 2 years over just the past 24 hours, with more than 600 UAVs targeting the capital as explosions rang out across the area. In the meantime, Dubai has also come under a missile attack from Iran as warnings were sent out to civilians to seek shelter, which marks the first Iranian attack on Dubai in months, and that's a very serious development happening literally just about an hour ago. So we have a lot of news today, especially out of the Middle East and also out of Ukraine and Russia as well. So let's jump right into our first article, which goes to FightDucks Network. And right now, this is one of our biggest stories of the day. We are getting word this morning that a large number of NATO aircraft have suddenly gathered around the Kaliningrad region that Russia controls, and also in the Baltic Sea this morning as well. And it appears to be that Kaliningrad's getting encircled to a large degree, which is a sudden change out of the blue that nobody's really sure why it's happening. Also notably, an EA-37B electronic warfare aircraft was also brought out of CENTCOM, while a Leidos Artemis II ISR aircraft was also operating in the area alongside tankers and F-35As. So right here you can see this is a lot of military activity around Kaliningrad. I'll be honest with you, I really don't understand why this is so heavy right now, and it could be for a plethora of reasons, including recent threats that Putin's made toward Britain and other NATO countries, but this is a sudden and very large development that we are monitoring, and it could be a military exercise, it could be something more than that possibly. It's just simply too early to tell, but I would say this is definitely something to keep an eye on right here. But moving on from this post right here, moving on to our next one, this one's going to go to open source intel, and in the meantime, while we've seen Kaliningrad get largely encircled by NATO aircraft, we've also seen another disturbing deployment of NATO aircraft, this time around the northern part of Norway, around the Barents Sea, and of course the port of Murmansk is in that area, of course, so the Russians do have access to that, and right now it's currently believed that Russian nuclear submarines might be on the move possibly, or something of that nature could be happening, but this is a somewhat unusual recon deployment that we're seeing right here, in addition to the Kaliningrad encirclement happening earlier. So either this is a very, very serious and large NATO exercise, or there's credible intelligence that Russia might be about to attack somebody. It's too early to tell, but I wish I knew some more details about this right now, because I think most people are kind of in the dark right now about what's happening, but this is certainly something to watch, I would say. Two different hotspots really lighting up this morning. But moving into our next post here, we get some details about why this might be happening right now, because we did see that recently Britain apparently got into a spat with Putin, and it got really ugly to the point where Russia was making some wild threats toward what they were going to do toward Britain. Because we can see right here that apparently Britain says it will continue supplying Ukraine with military equipment despite Moscow warning of quote-unquote consequences following reports that British-built drones were used in Ukrainian deep strikes inside of Russia, and Russia's embassy accused London of escalating its involvement and said it would pay a higher price, and the UK minister Lillian Greenwood allegedly responded that Britain remains completely steadfast and will keep on providing Ukraine with the equipment it needs. And also, by the way, this is nothing new for Britain and Putin, by the way. They've been having it out for quite some months at this point, and this is simply a continuation of that fight that's been going on for quite some time. So we're now hearing that apparently Putin might be about to try to aggress against Britain, which would be a wild move to say the least. It could be more posturing. It's probably the more likely answer, maybe more posturing toward Britain by the Putin regime. But I would say at this point, it looks like Russia is getting so desperate because they're getting slammed by so many drones every single night these days by Ukraine that they're basically finding anybody they can to lash out at, and they're going for it pretty much every single time. So this time it's Britain. They appear to be the target of Putin's wrath. And moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to Nexta, and this might give you an idea of why Putin is so freaked out this morning and acting so crazy. Apparently last night, over the last 24 hours, while we were off for our Monday off, the largest drone attack on Moscow took place over the last 2 years, by the way. So in the last 24 hours, more than 600 UAVs were reportedly heading toward the Russian capital, and it was a very, very large attack to say the least. And we can see that apparently it was the Moscow region, including Borodovsky, Ramensky, Kolomna, Elektrostal, and the Pavlovsky Road, or Pavlovsky Posad, excuse me, that were apparently targeted. And also the Russian authorities claim that they shot some drones down, but I would really say that's probably not the case. We've seen explosions happening all over Moscow, including another Wildberries warehouse allegedly near Atlant Park. So I would say this is quite a serious attack to say the least, but let's take a look at our first video here and show y'all some of the explosions that are happening around the Moscow area. So let's take a look. And you see out there in the distance, there's some smoke rising from one of the strikes right there on camera. And it's burning quite well, it looks like. They're about to jump into pure chaos here in a second. Be prepared. So there's some more smoke out there in the distance as well. A larger smoke column. You can see right there. There's a drone hit right there off to the left. Here's pure chaos ensuing. People running in every which direction. Cars almost running people over. So as you can see, oh, there goes some more. Look at that. These people are driving really reckless here. They're about to run over pedestrians. But there's some more smoke out there in the distance. I'll go ahead and mute that, by the way. But you can see there's some more smoke rising. Apparently, there was a warehouse that was hit in this area and also some other targets as well. And also, it looks like maybe the base of a construction site was also hit. So a very extensive series of strikes right there, to say the least. But moving on to our next post here, we got even more footage of these attacks here in the next post, which goes to woofers. And this is apparently an explosion happening near the Russian capital of Moscow as well. Sadly, we don't have a geolocation on this right now, but it is in the Moscow region. We do know that much. But let's take a look at this video as well and see the explosion and also how bad the attack was. Oh, so right there you can see it. There's the hit. Mom. That might have maybe been an interception, maybe. I can't really tell. I think that might have been an interception by the Russian air defense, maybe. I think it was very close to that building over there on the right, so it's kind of hard to tell what happened with it, but I think that might actually be an interception that we're seeing right here. So it looks like the Russians may have shot down at least one of the drones, at least, but, you know, for the rest of them, I think they're claiming they shot down over 70, so I'm not sure if that's really the case. But moving into our next one here, this one is going to go to none other than Max 26. And in this post right here, we have a couple more videos to show you of some of the strikes and impacts in the area. Also, apparently some of the damage. Apparently near one of those rip-off fast food chains that they rebranded once the sanctions came in place. So let's take a look at our first and second video and see the strike. So you can hear the Mosquito. There it is. The Mosquito hit the construction site, it looks like. I'm not sure why they're targeting the construction site. Maybe it was electronic warfare possibly interfering with that, but they hit a construction site very heavily. I think we saw that in another clip as well from a very blurry angle, but there's a more clear angle of it right there. For whatever reason, this has been hit, I think a couple of times actually by the Ukrainian drones. But also, let's move on to our second video and see that one. And here you can see that there's apparently, I think, a security truck or something out here. It looks like some building right there was hit. It looks like maybe a fast food little restaurant or something. Also over here is like the fake looking, I think that's like a phony looking fake McDonald's or something. I think that might be that Tasty company or whatever that they rebranded after sanctions came into place and they just ripped everything off from Western companies. That might be it there, I think. I'm not really sure. I can't really recognize their logo that well. But that whole area right there was smashed by a couple of drones. So much for the fake Big Macs or whatever they got at that place. But moving on to our next one here, this one's going to go to Jay in Kyiv. We're also getting some more bombshell news about that alleged mobilization that Putin's preparing to enact after the Russian elections. And I say quote-unquote elections because, of course, not really elections, but, you know, they look like elections at least. Apparently, the Putin regime has begun shutting down the border, at least according to brand new reports from the Atesh unit, in preparation for mass mobilization, and they're blocking military-aged men from going abroad at all. And the Russian opposition group Atesh reports that men are being detained at the border under the guise of secondary checks, only long enough to miss flights repeatedly over and over and over. So it sounds like they're trying to do this very covertly, but here's the information we have, so let's take a look. It says Atesh is documenting hidden restrictions on travel abroad for men of mobilization age, and the agents at border services and airports in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Yekaterinburg report unofficial screening at exit points, and men of military age are being sent for additional checks, which means they simply miss their flights, even if their documents are in order. So it appears, like I said, this is a very sneaky way to try to, I guess, push back against people leaving, but they're not really trying to make it clear that it's for a mobilization. Once again, by the way, Atesh, I see some people here saying in the comments that Atesh isn't Russian, they say right there in this post. So I'll leave it up to y'all, but it's being reported by a source here that Atesh is saying that apparently there is something going on preventing people from leaving the area. And I would still say personally that if I had to take a prediction and take a guess at it, I would imagine Putin is planning to mobilize because the war on the front is a stalemate, and also he's not getting any progress either. So he doesn't want people leaving, and I think this might be why we're hearing about this. He's trying to keep all the military-aged males in the country, so that way when he enacts a mobilization, there's actually people to pull on to put into the military. So I think that is coming pretty soon. But moving into our next one here, this one goes to Max 26. In the meantime, we've seen that apparently the trucks that have like the wild berries wrap on the side of it, it looks like they're now trying to take that off the side of the trucks and make them more, I guess, disguised where you really can't tell what they are, which I'm kind of shocked they haven't done that until now. But let's take a quick look at the video and show you they're apparently just ripping the wrap off the trucks. And there you have it. They're just ripping the Wild Bears logo right off the side of his truck right here. And apparently they're doing this, from what I can gather, they're doing this company-wide, it looks like, or at least in a large-scale way to try to disguise the trucks, which makes sense because every time Ukraine sees one of them, they're hitting them with drones every single time. But I don't think that's going to prevent the strikes altogether, because now Ukraine's just going to pretty much indiscriminately hit these trucks as they're making their way toward these warehouses. So I think they'll probably end up getting hit anyway, but I think this is a pretty temporary measure here to do something to at least try to disguise the trucks to prevent that from getting even worse. But I don't think that's going to work. That's just my hunch. But moving on from that video right there, moving into our next post, this one's going to go to Geo Insider. We can also see in another bombshell report, we got a lot of bombshell reports today, that apparently the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Association, is apparently saying that a drone exploded at a bus stop used by staff traveling to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is that really huge Ukrainian power plant, by the way. It's still under Russian occupation, causing 16 casualties, including 1 death and 3 serious injuries. So this is a very big deal because, first of all, those scientists and staff need to operate the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant safely in order to keep the operation from obviously having an issue. So the fact that apparently a drone is hitting people here, I would assume a Russian drone, that is extremely dangerous, to say the least. And also, it's like they run out of staff and nobody's there to operate it. It's like, who's gonna take over the plant at that point? I'm not sure why Russia would do something like that, and it seems like a really obviously reckless and stupid move, to say the least. But that's nothing new for Russia. But I would say, once again, Russia's playing with nuclear hellfire, basically, yet again, which is no shock. But moving into our next one here, this one's going to go to Visegrad 24. Meanwhile, if you thought Russia's gas situation was getting any better, you can definitely think twice about that, because we're now getting worried about the numbers, about how bad the gas crisis is truly getting. And according to Visegrad 24, gasoline is only available at 28% of gas stations in Russia. So for every 3 gas stations that a Russian tries to go get gas from, only one of those at the most is going to have gasoline, which is insanely bad, to say the least. And literally just a week earlier, it was 41% of gas stations had gas available. So it's dropping fast, literally dropped over 12% in just the last 7 days. And not to mention, even if you find the gas, you're going to be paying rip-off prices. You're going to be paying these exorbitant rates that are at 1.8 to 2 times higher than the usual. So, I mean, it's really messed up. It's really bad screwed for the Russians and gasoline, to say the least, which is going to cause all kinds of problems, including for their transportation industry, bringing food to the grocery stores and logistics. So with that, moving on to our next post here, this one's going to go to Military News Ukraine. And speaking of the gas stations, we've seen in Belgrade that apparently Russia started putting literally mosquito nets over the entire gas station, from the entrance, the pumps, the actual building itself of the gas station. The entire thing's covered in a net. So you would think the mosquitoes are bad, but it's not the mosquitoes, it's the drones that are apparently coming into these places. But I'll say this though, we've seen a propaganda video going around claiming that maybe the Ukrainians are striking Russian civilian gas stations in big numbers. I think there was only one instance that actually happened, and we got proof of that on camera, and the Ukrainians immediately opened an investigation into it. And I think they're still investigating that to make sure there wasn't any war criminal activity involved in it. So this is not a common enough occurrence to start putting nets over the stations. But let's take a look at the video. And there it is. Look at that. The whole thing. It looks like a golfing place, like a golfing practice place or something like that. But the entire gas station has a net over it. And I guess there's an opening maybe right there. Yeah, there's a huge opening right there that a drone could go straight through anyways. That's pretty dumb. For the cars to drive through, you have to go through the opening. That's where the drone can also enter as well. So this isn't going to help. But like I said, though, Ukraine's not really in the business of targeting civilian gas stations, so it's probably not a problem anyway. Maybe it's just a scared gas station owner, possibly. But moving into our next one here, this one is going to go to none other than OSINT Technical. And we have some massive news coming out of the Middle East today, and it looks like things are starting to take another bad turn for the worst. Once once again, Iran is still trying to make aggressions against the Gulf states, against the U.S. forces, and other commercial vessels in the area. And today we've seen that a missile warning has apparently been issued for Dubai, and it was much more than a warning, it turns out. And we just got confirmation apparently a short while ago that it was Iran that launched at least 2 ballistic missiles at Dubai. And earlier this morning, we saw residents instructed to take shelter in the city of Dubai, and the UAE issued a warning to all the civilians to take shelter. And down here you can see there is the missile alert right here. They said remain in a safe location. There was a missile threat targeting the country, and that is proof of it right here in this announcement. And according to what we know so far, it appears to be that the UAE air defenses apparently intercepted some of these objects here. They at least detected them, and I think they destroyed them for the most part, I believe. So, you know, at first people were thinking maybe it was the Yemeni Iranian forces that launched a missile, but we have some more proof here in our next post that proves that's actually not the case. And this one also goes to OSINT Technical. We see here that the UAE has officially confirmed that it was Iranian forces that fired 2 ballistic missiles at the Emirate this evening. This is the first Iranian attack on the UAE in months, and it comes just a day after the official U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement expired. So the MOU, the infamous MOU, it expired about a day ago, about 24 hours to 48 hours ago. It expired. So now I guess Iran's viewing that as a free-for-all. So now they're going to start firing stuff at the UAE. I'm not sure how much this is going to expand. It could expand to the other Gulf states. I'm not sure why they chose to try to hit Dubai. That's a bit of an interesting choice with that, considering that Dubai, is full of civilians. But, that's not unusual for Iran. So I'm not sure how much more out of control this is going to get, but this is certainly not a good sign, to say the least. But moving into our next one here, this one's going to go to the White House. And this is coming from the White House official account, so this is about to be good. This is about to be really, really good right here. But you can see that apparently this was a post put out today. It shows a picture claiming Strait of Hormuz. It says new U.S. territory. So I'm not sure if this is a joke or a gag or something, or this is serious, because obviously this is coming from what appears to be the president. It's coming off the White House official account. I'll double check that right now, and it does appear to be the White House official account this is coming off of. So, this is just a little piece of advice here. When you're the president of a country, to put out something like this that seems almost like a joke, but it has to do with something very serious, which is trying to claim an international waters territory as a domestic U.S. territory, it might not be good to put out jokes about that, because this could be taken wrongly by a lot of people, including myself. And when we report on it, it's kind of hard to tell if it's a joke or serious. He did mention this before, by the way, that he was thinking about maybe declaring the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory, which, by the way, I'm not sure how that's even possible, because the Strait of Hormuz is like a huge part of international waters right in the center of it. So I'm not sure how that's really even a thing that you can possibly do. So I don't know. This right here is not really enforceable to a large degree, unless the U.S. plans on just, taking international waters, which is not really legally permissible. I'm not really sure what's up with that, but the usual. Maybe some people might get a laugh out of that. Some people might cry about it. Who knows? But moving into our next one here, we also have a post from none other than Null Reports. And we have one more post, this time about Ukraine. So moving off of our Iran news for a second and back to Ukraine, we have gotten our first up-close look of the Ukrainian FP7 and FP9 ballistic missile systems. And these are the highly anticipated ballistic missiles that Ukraine's been working on and developing. And once these are actually in use, this will be the first ballistics that Ukraine can actually field on a battlefield setting, which could change things quite a bit when it comes to what Ukraine can hit and how fast they can hit it, and how the Russian air defenses probably cannot intercepted either. So let's take a look at the short video from Firepoint, and let's take a look at this new beauty of a missile they've created. And there it is. There's really not a whole bunch to see right there. Really, the video just shows like a backdrop of showing it like flying through the sky, which is pretty cool, by the way. But apparently that's the 2 missiles right there. I'm not sure. I think the larger one here might be the FP9. That might be the FP7 over there to the left of it, I think. But you can see there, very nice missiles. And this time they're not pink like the Flamingo. So they're a little bit of a different color, just straight up military colored this time. So I don't know if they're going to start painting them pink like the other ones, but maybe so. We'll have to see. But with that, folks, that's actually our last post of the video. So if you found the video informative, smack the like button and also subscribe to the channel as well to get notified of our daily video uploads when there is news to make them, and also our nightly war news streams at 10 p.m. Eastern. And also, if you want to support the channel financially, you can do so on our Patreon page, and I put the link down below in the description for our Patreon. And we are largely crowdfunded by the viewers, so that viewer support on Patreon means a hell of a lot to the channel, and we do appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our existing Patreon subscribers for being Patreon members. But with that, we'll see you all tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of news to cover tonight, and plenty more than the video even covered right now. So hope to see you all then. And of course, with that, bye-bye for now.